What if this season of Heartland reshapes everything we thought we knew? The ongoing tensions over land might finally reach a turning point. Amy could find herself contemplating a future she never envisioned, perhaps even another walk down the aisle. And yes, Ty Borden's spirit endures, returning to touch their lives, though not in a way anyone could predict. Heartland has consistently offered solace, recovery, and the warmth of family. But this time, it feels poised to stir our emotions even more profoundly. Whispers from the production, deeply moving recollections, and a fresh challenge suggest this season isn't merely another installment. It's the dawn of a significant new era, and the source of the most intense developments will surprise you. Let's explore what awaits at the Heartland Ranch, because if these emerging plotlines are accurate, we are on the brink of one of the most memorable seasons ever. Filming for season 19 is underway, and fans finally feel a sense of anticipation after the previous season concluded with a meaningful kiss, a simmering rivalry, and a cascade of unanswered questions. The Heartland team is back on location in Alberta, with production having commenced towards the end of May 20. The wait felt lengthy, especially since the prior season wrapped up in late 20, but witnessing the cast together again has ignited a wave of heartfelt excitement. Amber Marshall herself shared the news, and her voice has always been a comforting beacon. Yet, this time, there's a palpable shift in the air. Beneath the joyful reunion photos, a quiet current of speculation has been growing online. Several sources close to the show have indicated that season 19 will introduce the most substantial changes the series has ever experienced, not just in its narrative, but in its overall atmosphere. According to these insights, the promotional trailer is expected sooner than usual, possibly by late summer, and will feature poignant glimpses of Amy's journey forward as she navigates her future while cherishing vital pieces of her past. One of the most discussed rumors is that the trailer will begin with a familiar voice, leading many fans to believe it might be Ty. Whether through a vivid memory or a significant dream, it's suggested the trailer will hint at Ty's spiritual return through scenes perhaps filmed quietly by Graham Wardle this past spring. While the production team maintains a close guard on details, fan communities have been active with discussions about scenes showing Amy on the ranch, perhaps wearing an old cherished jacket of Ty's, as powerful memories resurface, possibly triggered by Lindy finding a forgotten memento. Though nothing is officially confirmed, one thing is clear: this season will delve deep into emotional territory. CBC's announcements have also hinted at a return to the show's foundational themes, which many interpret as a renewed focus on healing horses, confronting personal struggles, and reinforcing family bonds after profound loss. Yet, even with this nod to nostalgia, the evolving character dynamics are propelling the story into new and compelling directions. The ranch's rivalry with Price Beef is still a significant factor, and the associated drama is set to escalate. The previous season left off with a significant moment: Amy and Nathan, beneath the vast Alberta sky, acknowledging the deep connection that had been developing between them. For some viewers, it was the hopeful new beginning they had longed for. For others, it felt like a complex emotional challenge. Ty Borden's enduring presence has never truly faded from Heartland, and now in this new season, that emotional resonance is more potent than ever. Based on various leaks and fan discussions, Amy's path this season will be far from straightforward. While she is exploring a new chapter with Nathan, her past remains an integral part of her and of the audience's connection to the story. This is why the suggested return of Ty, even in these ethereal forms, has deeply moved the. We understand the writers have developed several sequences where Amy feels Ty's presence, not as a physical return, but through the lens of memory and heartfelt imagination, perhaps moments shared with Lindy that bridge the past and present. These moments are not merely for sentimentality, they are crafted as crucial junctures, instances where Amy must confront her deepest feelings and decide how fiercely she will protect what matters most to her. Amber Marshall has consistently stated her commitment to honoring Ty's legacy, and that promise seems poised to be fulfilled this season. Graham Wardle's close friendship with Amber off-screen has fueled rumors that she personally invited him to participate in these emotionally charged. These appearances are intended to be significant, helping Amy find closure in one aspect of her life and fully embrace the next. Recall her struggle after Ty's passing, the grief, the confusion, the guilt. Now envision those emotions resurfacing as she attempts to build a future with Nathan. It will undoubtedly be a challenging path. These flashback moments are described as both hauntingly beautiful and potentially incorporating previously unseen footage or newly filmed sequences designed to evoke powerful memory. One insider mentioned a particularly moving scene where Amy, weary after a demanding day, feels Ty's presence in the familiar setting of the barn, just as it used to be. She moves towards that feeling, but it gently recedes, leaving a sense of peace and guidance. Whether this is interpreted symbolically or spiritually, it's evident the show will embrace its emotional depth more than ever. This brings us to Nathan, portrayed with compelling depth by Nathaniel Ark. He initially arrived amidst tension, connected to the rival Price beef operation, but swiftly revealed a multifaceted character that resonated with viewers. His developing relationship with Amy surprised many, especially as the rivalry between their families echoed the classic, deeply felt love stories characteristic of Heartland's early season. In the previous season, he was a source of quiet strength, a steady presence Amy hadn't realized she needed. However, in season 19, their romance will face trials, not only from the lingering echoes of Ty but also from external pressures. Perhaps a new aggressive business competitor with ties to Nathan's own past, causing him to question his allegiances and his future with Amy. Remember Nathan's sister? Her dramatic appearance in the previous season's finale hinted at unresolved issues, and it seems she's not about to fade into the background. Some fans perceive her as a new source of conflict for Heartland, with her primary aim possibly being to disrupt the harmony between Amy and Nathan. Her motivations are still veiled. Some speculate it's rooted in family loyalty, while others suggest a complicated history involving Nathan's previous relationship. Regardless, she seems prepared to delve into Amy's past, potentially exploiting the emotional vulnerabilities connected to Ty's memory and creating turmoil for both ranches. But here's a significant development. There's talk that Amy and Nathan might contemplate a more permanent commitment, possibly marriage. Several online discussions suggest that early in the season, as the couple discusses ways to resolve the ongoing feud between their ranches, the idea of a union that could formally and emotionally bind the families together is proposed. On the surface, it's a romantic notion, but Heartland's history teaches us that solutions are rarely simple. Lou, Jack, and Tim are all expected to have strong views, and it's suggested the family might find themselves divided on the matter. The idea of Amy remarrying is significant, not just for fans but for the characters themselves. Lou especially might wonder if Amy is moving too quickly, perhaps as a way to sidestep her ongoing grief. And Jack, whose devotion to Ty's memory remains unwavering, might scrutinize Nathan's intentions closely, always fiercely protective of his granddaughter's happiness. Nonetheless, some believe this internal conflict could pave the way for one of the most emotionally resonant wedding episodes in the show's history, either a truly joyous occasion or one interrupted by unforeseen dramatic events. Either way, it seems to be a path the season will explore. Then there's Caleb, Heartland's steadfast friend, a true cowboy, and a character with his own quiet romantic complexities. Viewers noted Caleb's subtle undercurrent of jealousy in the previous season, and recent discussions suggest he's not entirely ready to step aside. We're hearing that early in season 19, Caleb has a heartfelt conversation with Amy about her relationship with Nathan. This scene is rumored to be intensely emotional, perhaps ending with shared tears. It's said to be one of the most candid and vulnerable moments of the season, where Caleb might not directly confess his enduring feelings, but instead throws himself into a new constructive venture, perhaps starting a small rodeo school for local youth on a parcel of land near Heartland. With Jack's quiet encouragement, this would give him a renewed sense of purpose, keeping him connected to the Heartland family, while allowing him to mature beyond his past feelings for Amy, fostering a new dynamic of friendship and collaboration. His role this season is set to be deeply impactful, exploring themes of identity, legacy, and loyalty. Caleb has been such an integral part of Heartland for so long, that any significant shift in his journey will undoubtedly affect everyone. Meanwhile, the family surrounding Amy continues to navigate their own path. Lou is rumored to be re-engaging with her political aspirations as the ranch confronts new adversities, potentially an environmental threat to the region that directly impacts Heartland, forcing her to make challenging decisions that test her commitment to both public service and her family. This could echo her earlier experiences in local politics, and many believe it's a fitting way to bring her dynamic energy back to a central storyline. Georgie, too, might make a limited return. While unconfirmed, it's been suggested she could reappear for a significant family milestone, perhaps a wedding, or even if a more somber event were to occur. And then there's Katie. Now approaching the age Amy was when the series began, Katie is anticipated to have a more prominent role. Whether she emerges as a new romantic interest or discovers her own voice as a future leader for the ranch, it's evident Heartland is nurturing the seeds of generational progression. Some viewers speculate Katie might be the one to carry the show forward in subsequent seasons, particularly if Amy's story arc finds a more settled rhythm. But one thing is certain, Amy's journey is far from over. Her storyline in season 19 is described as a powerful blend of healing, love, and confrontation. With Graham Wardle's potential spiritual presence as tie woven into the narrative, that emotional intensity is sure to resonate deeply with. From poignant memories to romantic uncertainties, Amy's path this season will be among the most intricate and emotionally rich in the show's history. She's not the same young woman who first trained Spartan all those years ago. She's a mother, a widow, a healer, and now, possibly, ready to embrace a new future. Whether you're holding on to Ty's memory, cheering for Nathan's prospects, or quietly hoping Caleb finds his own happiness, Season 19 promises to deliver the heartfelt emotional journey we've all come to expect. And deep down, we trust that no matter where the story leads, Heartland will always feel like coming home. There's a persistent thought among fans, one that connects the world of Heartland with another beloved ranching saga. Could the Fleming-Bartlett family of Alberta share some distant, subtle link to the iconic Dutton family of Montana? On its face, it might seem unlikely. Heartland is characterized by its warmth, soulfulness, and family focus, while Yellowstone is known for its grit, intensity, and themes of raw legacy. Yet, when you examine the underlying elements, the deep-rooted history of cattle ranching, the fierce defense of land, the strong female figures, and the resilient cowboys, the parallels begin to feel less like mere coincidence, and more like a subtly interwoven narrative. Consider the geography. Heartland is set in Alberta, just north of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch in Montana, while a border separates them. For ranching families with long histories of land ownership, such boundaries often become blurred by shared experiences and ancestral ties. Fan speculation suggests that Jack Bartlett, the very heart of Heartland, might have distant ancestral connections to the same pioneering spirit that forged Yellowstone's legacy. The Bartletts have held Heartland for generations, much like the Duttons, and have fought tirelessly to preserve their ranch. Both families embody strikingly similar values: protect the land, defend the family, challenge authority when necessary, and uphold tradition at all costs. Even their patriarchs Jack Bartlett and John Dutton seem to reflect aspects of one another, old-school ranchers who understand that legacy is as much about blood as it is about soul. Jack might share older, almost forgotten family stories about early land disputes or distant relatives who ventured south, subtly hinting at these connections without explicit references. Both Heartland and Yellowstone have explored themes of wild horse preservation. Amy Fleming's intuitive work with troubled horses mirrors the profound connections characters like Case and Jimmy have demonstrated in Yellowstone. In both narratives, horses are more than just animals. They are potent symbols of healing, freedom, and enduring legacy. Heartland offers us Amy, a horse whisperer, whose gift feels almost spiritual. Yellowstone presented Travis, a rodeo cowboy, who embodies a fading tradition. What if these thematic echoes are intentional? What if both shows are quietly narrating similar truths through different perspectives? Then there's the powerful matrilineal line in Heartland. Marian Fleming's passing was the catalyst for the entire series. Her deep love for horses and her tragic absence shaped Amy profoundly. In Yellowstone, it's Evelyn Dutton, Beth and Casey's mother, whose death casts a long shadow over the ranch. Both women were strong, determined, and fiercely devoted to their families and land. Their absence left voids that have proven difficult to fill, and both series explore a common question: how do daughters navigate the legacy of a formidable mother? And we mustn't overlook Ty Borden and Case Dutton. These two men, deeply loved by viewers, represent the emotional core of their respective families. Ty's journey from a troubled youth to a devoted husband, father, and rancher shares uncanny parallels with Casey's arc. Both married strong, independent women. Both sought to distance themselves from violence, yet were consistently drawn back into conflicts larger than themselves. Ty died protecting his family. Casey's fate remains a central question as Yellowstone approaches its conclusion. But what deepens this comparison is how both men are remembered and felt. Ty is now a guiding presence in Amy's life, a spiritual touchstone. Just as Case is often visited by visions and premonitions, the spirit of the cowboy, the essence of their connection to the land and family, never truly departs from these narratives. That's not a coincidence. It's a shared philosophical underpinning. Beyond theories and fan aspirations, the truth is that both Heartland and Yellowstone traverse similar emotional landscapes. What does it mean to fight for a piece of land that holds generations of history? What is owed to one's ancestors? And how are values passed on without burdening the next generation? Amy and John Dutton might differ vastly in their methods, but they would likely understand each other on a fundamental level because ultimately, they are both guardians of a legacy. They are both keepers of a flame that the modern world often seeks to diminish. That's why fans continue to draw these connections, because the soul of Heartland and the fire of Yellowstone might share more common ground than initially perceived. And imagine if in some future narrative thread, Katie Fleming Morris and Tate Dutton were to cross paths, two young heirs to distinct ranching legacies, their worlds potentially intersecting at a rodeo, a cattle auction, or during a pivotal moment of change. The narrative possibilities are vast, as Heartland moves confidently into its new season, and as Taylor Sheridan continues to expand the Yellowstone universe. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that these worlds could subtly acknowledge each other. As Heartland embarks on Season 19, fans worldwide are asking a simple yet profound question: is this the culmination? The honest answer is, we don't know, but this season feels distinct, imbued with a greater weight, a more personal focus, a sense of beautiful uncertainty. It's as if the show is carefully balancing the act of holding on with the grace of letting go. So much has evolved. Ty's physical presence is gone. Georgie has moved on. The family, while physically together, navigates complex emotional distances. And for perhaps the first time in nearly 2 decades, we're experiencing Heartland not just as a comforting return to a familiar ranch, but as a story that might be preparing to say a gentle farewell, or perhaps to pass the torch to a new generation. Season 19 begins not with overt triumph, but with quiet reflection. The atmosphere is more contemplative. Amy is more grounded than ever, yet there's a visible weariness about, not a fatigue from the work itself, but from the immense responsibility of managing the ranch, raising her daughter, carrying her grief, and upholding the legacy Ty left behind. This season, Amy is compelled to ask herself a question she has perhaps avoided: what do I truly want? Not just what's best for Lindy, nor what is expected of her, but what does Amy Fleming need to feel truly alive again? It's a potent question because it opens the door to transformation, and transformation is inherently risky on land steeped in memory. But change is undeniably coming, and you can sense it in every unfolding storyline. Lou finds herself torn between her civic duties as mayor and her responsibilities as a mother, sister, and co-owner of the ranch. She is stretched so thin that even her noblest intentions are showing signs of strain. And in Season 19 we may witness Lou being forced to make a defining choice between her political ambitions and Heartland, between maintaining control and fostering deeper connection. Her relationship with Peter could either discover new depths or face irreparable fractures. What about Katie? She is no longer a child. She's exploring her independence, asking challenging questions, discovering her identity, and that journey could lead her away from the ranch or position her as its future. Jack Bartlett, remains the enduring soul of the show, but even his strength is beginning to show the passage of time. His wisdom is profound, but his body carries the years. Lisa watches him with a growing, unspoken concern, and fans share that sentiment, because truthfully, if Jack were ever to depart, the very foundation of Heartland could feel shaken. Jack is the last direct link to Marion, to the original dream of Heartland, to its very inception. And in Season 19, there are numerous moments that feel like quiet farewells, not dramatic pronouncements, but lingering glances, subtle nods, unspoken goodbyes that resonate more deeply than words ever could. And then there's Lindy. She represents the vibrant heartbeat of the future. And in Season 19, she begins to step into that inherent strength. Amy is starting to guide her, not just in horsemanship, but in life. Lindy's connection to the land, to the animals, to the intrinsic rhythm of Heartland, is almost spiritual. It's as if Ty's gentle spirit is watching over her, guiding her steps. And yet Amy is understandably apprehensive, because she knows the world is not always a safe place, and she understands more than anyone the sacrifices involved in a life bound to legacy. Will Lindy become the new heart of Heartland, or will she forge her own unique path, perhaps far from the ranch? Meanwhile, the ranch itself faces mounting challenges. Financial pressures are increasing, the economic landscape is shifting, and new developers are eyeing the surrounding land. The struggle for Heartland's survival is no longer merely emotional, it's tangible, and this season could see the family confronting a choice they've never had to seriously consider before. Do we let it go? The mere thought is enough to deeply affect longtime viewers. Heartland isn't just a location, it's a symbol of healing, of family, of enduring love. But can such a powerful symbol endure when everything around it is in flux? And then comes the most significant overarching theme: legacy. Season 19 delves deeply into the concept of inheritance, not just land or horses, but also trauma, dreams, expectations, and memory. What do we leave behind? What stories do we impart to the next generation? And are those stories burdens or blessings? Amy, Lou, and Jack are all grappling with these questions, and crucially, so are the younger characters. Will Katie, Parker, and Lindy inherit the mantle of the ranch, or will they choose to walk away from it entirely, creating their own legacy? Season 19 poses these difficult questions without offering simplistic answers. There are murmurs among the cast and crew, and social media is alive with speculation. Is Season 19 the final? Some fans believe it's a gentle conclusion, a soft fade where nothing implodes, but everything subtly shifts. Others think it's merely a transition, that Amy will step back slightly, allowing Lindy to rise, and the show will continue to evolve. But either way, the emotional gravity is unmistakable. Every episode feels like it could be the last cherished ride. Every shared look, every embrace, every sunrise over those majestic Alberta hills feels like a precious memory being forged in real time. And yet, despite all the pain, all the loss, all the uncertainty, hope remains, because that is what Heartland has always fundamentally been about. Hope in the midst of heartbreak, healing through connection, love that transcends grief. The ranch may face threats, the characters may change, but the spirit of Heartland, the quiet, unwavering belief that people can grow through adversity, that will never diminish. So whether Season 19 is the final chapter or the beginning of a new volume, one thing is certain: Heartland is more than just a television show. It's a home, and as long as we keep returning, year after year, tear after tear, its essence will continue to live within all of us. Because the true Heartland was never solely the land. It was always and will always be the love. And perhaps the season concludes with Amy and Lindy together, performing a small symbolic act, maybe planting a young sapling of a tree species Ty particularly loved, or Lindy confidently guiding a once troubled horse through a complex maneuver, a quiet testament to the enduring strength and evolving future of Heartland. Whatever it may hold.